5,300 yards. That is the shocking distance of a single armor defeating strike that just shattered conventional tank doctrine on the front line. In February 2026, British Parliament Petition 756794 officially thrust a massive defense dilemma into the global spotlight, demanding that London immediately transfer 140 surplus Challenger 2 main battle tanks to Ukraine, rather than dismantling them for spare parts. The stakes could not be higher for the Ukrainian armed forces, who face an exhausting war of attrition, where exposed positions mean instant destruction by hostile precision assets. Without a massive influx of heavy armor, their defensive lines could become highly vulnerable, leaving their remaining ground units defenseless against relentless mechanized assaults. Yet, this intense conflict has forced global military analysts to argue that, on paper, their only tactical salvation would be the unique capabilities of this exact British heavy platform. The Challenger 2 has proven to be a devastating sniper on the battlefield, utilizing its L-30, a 120mm rifled gun, to achieve that historic 5,300-yard armor defeat, a distance that leaves smoothbore tanks completely outranged. While alternative NATO platforms have suffered visible losses to intense kamikaze drone waves, the heavy armor of the British Challenger 2 has kept Ukrainian crews safe, with only 2 to 3 units confirmed destroyed in action since the conflict began. But if these tanks are so highly effective at long range, why is the British government still holding 140 vital hulls inside its strategic reserves, while frontline units face severe armor shortages? Could this massive fleet of 140 tanks be the ultimate weapon to turn the tide? Or are they hiding a fatal logistical flaw that makes them completely useless in high-intensity warfare? Before we go on, do you believe these British tanks can survive the modern drone era? Hit that subscribe button to follow this deep dive, and tell me where you are watching from. To understand why these 140 tanks are not already on the front line, we must examine the harsh engineering reality and a highly restrictive logistical trap. The original Challenger 2 weighs 62,500 kilograms, but when Ukrainian engineers add necessary field modifications, including explosive reactive armor and extensive steel drone cages, the total combat weight skyrockets to nearly 75,000 kilograms. This makes it the absolute heaviest main battle tank on the modern battlefield. Leading global defense analysts argue that this immense mass creates a severe mobility crisis when encountering the notorious Rasputitsa muddy season in Ukraine. The Perkins CV-12 1,200 horsepower diesel engine becomes heavily strained, causing the massive hull to bog down in deep tactical mud and leaving the platform vulnerable to coordinated strikes. Even more critical is the isolated ammunition dilemma. Unlike alternative NATO platforms like the American Abrams or German Leopard 2, which utilize standardized 120mm smoothbore ammunition, the British Challenger 2 relies exclusively on a unique 3-part separate loading ammunition system for its L-30, a one-rifled gun. This ammunition is not interchangeable with any other major NATO asset, and currently, only the United Kingdom and the Sultanate of Oman operate this specific technology. Defense data confirms that British domestic production lines for these specialized high-explosive squash head and armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot rounds have been inactive for years. Frontline crews in the 82nd Air Assault Brigade are forced to ration their remaining supplies carefully. Sending all 140 surplus hulls without an active industrial supply chain for this exclusive ammunition, would leave the vehicles completely defenseless once current reserves are depleted, transforming a powerful long-range sniper into a useless static target. Behind the closed doors of London, this immense defense dilemma connects directly to a massive £800 million modernization program. The United Kingdom is actively transitioning to its next-generation Challenger 3 main battle tank, which successfully completed its first crewed live fire trials in early 2026. This newly designed platform abandons the traditional British rifled gun in favor of a standardized Rheinmetall L55, a 120mm smoothbore system, bringing British armor in line with standard NATO ammunition. However, British defense budgets only allocate enough funding to upgrade exactly 148 hulls to the new Challenger 3 configuration. This strict financial limitation leaves the remaining 140 original Challenger 2 hulls completely stranded in long-term storage, incurring high storage costs every year. Leading global defense analysts argue that, on paper, transferring these 140 surplus vehicles to Ukraine is a highly pragmatic double-edged strategy for the British government. First, it completely eliminates the financial burden of decommissioning and dismantling these heavy platforms at home, which would cost British taxpayers millions of pounds. Second, it turns the active theater in Ukraine into a valuable real-world laboratory for British defense contractors. By observing how the specialized Dorchester armor and custom field modifications resist advanced hostile kamikaze drone waves, British military planners can collect invaluable combat data. This feedback is immediately utilized to improve the active defense systems and electronic warfare suites on the newly built Challenger 3 fleet. Therefore, the potential transfer of these 140 hulls is not just an act of international aid, but a highly calculated strategic trade. The United Kingdom is effectively offering its legacy hardware to secure priceless modern combat data, ensuring its future armored forces remain protected against 20th-century threats. This leads us to the ultimate verdict regarding the true fate of these 140 stranded vehicles. Despite the strong public push from British Parliament Petition 756794, the reality of 20th-century defense engineering presents a massive obstacle. The Challenger 2 platform has been out of production for over 2 decades, creating a severe shortage of critical components such as custom track links, hydrogas suspension units, and specialized thermal optics. Leading global defense analysts argue that, on paper, Ukraine will likely never receive all 140 hulls as functional combat units. Instead, a strict 3-part scenario will shape the next 12 months. In the most realistic development, which carries a 70% probability, the British Ministry of Defense will retain roughly 100 hulls to act as a vital cannibalization pool. Technicians will strip these donor vehicles for rare parts to sustain the small number of active platforms currently deployed by the 82nd Air Assault Brigade. Only 30 to 40 fully refurbished units in optimal condition would actually reach the front line. Alternatively, there is a 20% chance London freezes the transfer entirely due to the exhausted stocks of the exclusive L30, A1 ammunition. The final 10% risk involves a hurried political decision to send the entire fleet, which would likely backfire as the vehicles rapidly become useless due to a complete lack of operational maintenance support. Ultimately, the story of these British tanks reveals a profound lesson about modern warfare. Heavy industrial armor cannot survive without a matching, continuous logistics chain. The United Kingdom is not merely offering surplus hardware, but executing a pragmatic trade of legacy steel for priceless modern electronic data. Do you believe Ukraine should accept these high-maintenance heavy platforms, or should they demand more standardized NATO armor? Share your thoughts in the comments below.